and thank you for watching the Kempler Design Vlog podcast something. I don't know what this is yet, but we're starting a new thing. I am Paul Kempler with Kempler Design.
And I'm April Kempler, the admin extraordinaire.
And owner.
And owner.
Yeah, me too. We're talking about ownership today because there's a big change that we received notification right at the first of the year, and April is going to tell you about it.
Well, we got an email from Hunter Douglas, one of our big vendors, that they had sold their controlling shares to a company called 3G Capital. What in the world is that? What does that even mean for all of us?
Yeah, and so that's what we want to talk about is from a couple of different perspectives, as a dealer and also as a client. What difference is it going to make? And so, first of all, we need to recognize that Hunter Douglas is a very large international company. And so they sell a lot of different types of window treatments, but they also do other products as well. And their annual sales, I believe I looked it up, was somewhere in the neighborhood of like $3.5 billion annually. So they're definitely a big company. And they sold to the company that April mentioned, 3G Capital, for approximately $7.1 billion. Pocket change. Right?
And who are 3G Capital?
Well, that's a very good question. 3G Capital is all about food. Yeah, they do. They've had a role, ownership in Heinz, Anheuser-Busch, and other companies as well. And this is the first time from the history that I found anyway, that they've pursued ownership into something completely different. And that would be into the types of things that Hunter Douglas does. So 75% ownership. The family that has owned Hunter Douglas for approximately 100 years have been doing things the way they do it for a very long time internationally. But 3G Capital is really well known around the world for having a global interest in things, and the way they do things is very unique and different. And so the reality is that it has had some super positive things, and it has had some other things that are going to be interesting to see how it goes down. So I want to share some of those things. Do you have any specific questions about this?
Well, yeah, if I'm a client and I want Hunter Douglas blinds, what does this mean for me?
Yeah. At first, making an assumption on this, I don't think it's going to have a dramatic impact immediately. I don't know, this all just got announced now, and it's supposed to take place within the first quarter of 2022. But as far as how quickly the changes are going to take place, not really sure. Whether they're going to take in, I think part of what 3G Capital does is it takes in tons of information and then analyzes it and makes changes. One of the things they're most known for is how they handle budgets. They use a system, and I'm looking at my notes here, called zero-based budgeting. It's not traditional budgeting, and it basically says that every time they do their budget, they figure out what needs to be done, and then they do not go over that, and they don't just naturally throw money at things the way traditional budgets are done. They just say, no, that's not. If we haven't figured to do it each and every time, it doesn't get done. So there may be impasses when it comes to how things get done. So from a client's perspective, currently, I don't think there's going to be a lot of major changes. But in time, they may drop lines. In other words, it's not fitting in with the budget.
Maybe increase costs, price? Will it be paying more for something?
I feel that standard supply chain issues that are going on right now and inflation, those are the things that are going to be escalating prices at the moment. I don't see it happening as a result of this, but I do see other things taking place. And as a client, one of the things that I can see happening, Hunter Douglas, within the last couple of years, by the way, they're a big company that everybody knows, but there are a lot of smaller, independent, well, they used to be independent companies, and they're not anymore, and Hunter Douglas has purchased them. So what happened, like, within the last couple of years is they took some of those companies and merged them together. And when they did that, it cost, this is kind of a big deal, it cost jobs. So, for example, they had multiple companies doing the exact same thing, and so they just merged them together. And so some of the reps, for example, some of the people in the factories, they lost their jobs. And that can have an impact on the overall company, but from the dealer perspective, not so much yet. Here's one thing that is coming up, though, that I find interesting. Let me get to the right page here. Again, 3G Capital focused on what they're focused on. One of the things that they're doing right now that is very different to me is they're bringing in somebody completely new. And I thought I had the note, but I went to the wrong page. So they are bringing in a new CEO, and chief executive, I'm assuming it's CEO, João Castro Neves, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his first name improperly. Apologize if I do. But here is someone who is looking at things strictly from the running a business angle, as opposed to knowing the industry. He's a business type guy, and he's been involved in food. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, so if you, the food guy, how am I impacted as a dealer when I know the window covering industry? I don't know the food industry.
I'm hoping that their team is going to spend a little effort. Like, for example, hello, reach out. We would be happy to assist if you guys need it, because we're dealing with what happens out in the real world as opposed to the corporate structure of things. And we would love to be able to work with you to make sure that we're all working towards similar goals. As a dealer, I do believe there are going to be some changes coming down. I'm not going to talk about them here. I would talk about them privately. If someone is interested in saying, hey, what do you think is going to go on? I have some concepts, and I'd love to hear yours as well. So let's start getting engaged. Let's talk and see what these kind of things may mean. Because I've got some concepts that I think would help a dealer. And from a customer standpoint, I don't think you're going to have any major changes right now, but in the future, there are going to be some, because anytime that someone who is really involved, and I guess this is why I was saying this, the Mr. Neves, when he takes over as CEO, someone who's coming out of a completely a different industry is going to make some major changes to things. And so we just need to be prepared for it. It doesn't make it good or bad.
A word we've been using a lot is adaptability.
Yeah, exactly. We have to be adaptable. So Hunter Douglas and some of the smaller companies are now having a behind the scenes owner. It's not going to change the name of the company as far as I know, but it will have some adjustments in terms of the way that they do business. So if you're a dealer, be prepared for it. And if you're a client, then just know that people like us, we're looking at what's best for you. And so if some of those changes are coming down, we'll try and let you know about it ahead of time. And that's about it. So this was a little different for us as a podcast, talking about the business of it as opposed to the technical aspects of window treatments. But I hope you enjoyed it, and we'd love to hear from you. So please reach out. Let us know what you thought of this. Thumbs up would be nice, maybe subscription. And we thank you very much for watching the Kempler Design Vlog.